What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is season 2 of the On Deck Circle podcast, and I'm Tango. We're back for season 2. We got a fresh face here. I just want to start off by giving a big shout out to Nick Terrio 12, who was my co-host in season 1. All the work he put in and everything as far as that goes. He's moved on to some other types of content. He's less focused on MLB The Show. He's gone into a little bit more of the wrestling scene as far as, WWE 2K video games, and then everything as far as just IRL wrestling. He's all over the place with that. So you can catch him still on all of his channels and everything doing that stuff. And I just want to welcome, we have our new co-host, JakeXclusive. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the On Deck Circle. Let's just, give the folks at home just a little bit about yourself and your MLB The Show journey.
Tango. Thank you for having me, man. Kind of want to reiterate what Tango said, though, about, giving the huge shout out to Nick. I mean, I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years. He's one of the real down to earth dudes, man. Nothing but love for him, man. But I know he's big into the wrestling scene now, as am I. But I mean, he does it in a way that I could never. I mean, he's committed to it in a way that I'm just like, man. So big ups to him, man. Always love talking ball and talking wrestling with him. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. As Tango said, my name is JakeXclusive. Part-time Twitch streamer, part-time pretty much everything, full-time dad, big MLB The Show player. Been playing it pretty much my entire life. I remember getting the very first copy of MLB The Show as a kid, and I actually thought MLB 2006 was better because I played it religiously until I got the show, and then I was like, yep, this is my game. So yeah, man, happy to be here. Happy to talk some DD, just talking the show, man. I love talking MLB The Show, and Tango, I appreciate the opportunity.
Hell yeah. So glad to have you. So I'd say both of us, mainly Diamond Dynasty is, I think as far as the fan base and the player base of MLB The Show, that's what most people play these days. Especially when it comes to content creation. I mean, there's people that focus on franchise and some of the other stuff, but I know you and we do a lot of Diamond Dynasty. So I want to know, what was the first MLB The Show where you kind of made that Diamond Dynasty switch? Because for me, I started playing MLB 17, and it wasn't until kind of late in the year when I was like, oh, what's this Diamond Dynasty thing all about, and got a little bit into it. And then basically since MLB 18, that's all I've done with this game.
For me, I want to say it was the same kind of trajectory. I don't remember how religiously I played MLB The Show 18 because I kind of blocked it out of my memory, because I just remember how that game was like so power hitter friendly that I don't remember how much I really played it. I just know that the game that I really went crazy into was MLB 19. I mean, it just had me from the jump. I was hooked. I was one of those guys who thought spending real money on packs was a good idea. And until I looked, and I was like, this is really not the best way to do it. And ever since then, man, I've been in love with Diamond Dynasty. I know it's gotten the raps by the offline community here and there, which I fully understand. But as far as, like you said, content creation and things like that, I absolutely love it. It's my favorite card collecting mode, I guess, that sports games have. I mean, I'm not a big fan of MUT. I don't really play the 2K one either. I don't play FIFA at all, even though all my friends keep telling me I should. But yeah, I love playing Diamond Dynasty. I think it's just, there's something weird about it. I can't really describe it. It's just so much fun to play, so much fun to grind. And they just keep adding things to do. So it keeps getting me.
Yeah, it definitely is something that you can get just totally lost in. I think that sort of MLB 19 and 20 was, a lot of people where they really got into it. Obviously, with once the pandemic happened and stuff, everybody had nothing else to do besides sit at home and game and start their Twitch journeys and things like that. So that the game got a big boost around then. And yeah, MLB, there's some great memories from MLB 19. MLB 18 was obviously crazy, just with Immortals and the gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
We won't necessarily go back that far, but I did a lot of grinding in that game. And so let's just go back to kind of just last year, this MLB The Show 23. There were a lot of opinions from everybody on this game, especially Diamond Dynasty. Well, everything, but especially Diamond Dynasty. So I'm just going to let you kind of start us off, but give us your just general thoughts on MLB The Show 23. What you liked, what you didn't like, what you really didn't like.
Um, Gosh, the more I look at it, there was some stuff to like. A lot of the negative with Diamond Dynasty obviously came from the sets and seasons, stuff like that. The team affinity I think took a major step backwards. I think overall the gameplay for MLB The Show 23 was some of the best we've had. A lot of people, thought the hitting could use this and that or whatever, but I mean, it wasn't. I think hitting was the best it's ever been as far as MLB The Show gaming goes. Pitching, pinpoint was cool, but obviously, as we saw, like sinkers are still super overpowered and things like that. And then, um, I liked the impact of like the NGL players, like the Negro League guys that came into the game. Those were really cool. Learning all the history about those guys, which I knew some of the names, but obviously getting the storylines of getting ready to tell those were really cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then that was pretty much it as far as Diamond Dynasty goes. I mean, the programs were cool, but I felt like there wasn't they kind of weren't really worth grinding unless you really wanted those like the reward card at the end. Um, there was weird, like they had like what was it, the Mexico series program, and that was just weird. Like it was all cards that no one was going to use like ever. Like
Yeah.
it was just, I don't know. It was just like, it felt like there was just a lot of things that were just kind of thrown into the game. Oh, and another thing I did like was the World Baseball Classic stuff. That was really cool. Importing a lot of guys that were probably ever going to get into MLB The Show again. Shout out to Shlomo, the MLB The Show legend.
Legend.
Legend. But yeah, and then as far as like the sets and season stuff goes, I mean, I didn't really have a major problem with it as many as like a lot of people did, where it's like, oh, you're gonna lose your cards after a certain set. It's like it gives you something to grind towards, which I kind of understood what they were going for. But I didn't like the idea of like 99's day one were really dumb to me. I wasn't a huge fan. I've always been a power creep fan because I think it just makes cards like silvers and golds and live series cards mean something. And I feel like they just basically the only reason you did the live series collection was to get Jeter. And
Yeah.
so it kind of died there. And then just having multiple 99s of the same card. Like we have like 499 JT Romutos or something like that in the game. I think there's 3. I know there's 3
At
for
least
sure.
3. Yeah.
There's the finest, there's the
Prime,
World Baseball Classic, and then there's the Prime one. Yeah, so he's got 3 at least. So it's like that's stupid to me. There's like what 494 Mike Trouts, like 5 if you count his live series one. It's like it's just I don't know. There was things about it. It was just I like the idea of what they were going for. I think it was just a huge swing and a miss as far as like wanting to constantly get a lot of the content out. And also, I feel like a lot of the legend cards, this was kind of like the worst year for a lot of them. Like I was thinking about it earlier when I was looking at the video. I think the best card I think that got an upgrade from year to year was Chipper. Like I think this is the best Chipper we ever had, but I mean, this is probably the worst Mickey Mantle we ever had. Maybe. I mean, I can't remember his stats compared to when he was the live series collection. What was that? 20?
Yeah, I think 20.
Yeah, I think it was 20 or 21. I think he was the live series collection for. And then like Honus Wagner never got anything better than that 99 for the set 2. I think the Flying Dutchman card. I don't think he ever got a better card. So I don't know. I think they've got a lot to improve on as far as things like that, which it seems like they're heading in the right direction. But we've also had some. I mean, Derek Jeter was an absolute beast all year. If you got him for the core collection, um, but yeah, I think there was just a lot of swings and misses, but only room to improve.
Yeah, I would say I think a lot of the good that they did kind of got overshadowed. Like there were a lot of good things. Like you said, World Baseball Classic stuff was awesome. I really applaud them for trying something new, like with sets and seasons. The execution of it was not good. But they tried something different because like they were right. The last 4 or 5 years of Diamond Dynasty has basically been the exact same, almost like just the way everything was laid out. And not that it wasn't working, but or necessarily needed to be fixed, but it's good. It's always good to at least try some new things and learn from that. So hopefully, the stuff they've given us so far for MLB 24, I think is going in the right direction. But yeah, for me, I think the biggest thing was it was just like nothing felt special, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was just when you have that many of every card with not multiple 99s, and you're giving us so many good cards right at the beginning of the game, it's really weird because it's like, down the road, you don't want to grind out a 99 Kyle Schwarber midway through the year
Yeah,
when you just got one like 5 weeks ago. It's kind of like, well,
exactly.
give me something different. So yeah, it was just kind of just the execution of how everything was rolled out that I think really didn't do well and kind of made the game like die off way quicker than it has in the past. And it was just, there was way too many cards that were just pointless. Bringing back Team Affinity is cool, but when like you give us 90 cards or whatever and 80 of them are kind of just collection fillers and pointless cards that you're not going to use, it didn't really make much sense. It was kind of just like you're grinding and grinding and grinding for like not the right kind of payoffs. So we'll see how it all works in 24, but there's definitely, I think, a lot of things that can be improved upon for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just to reiterate what you were saying about the team affinity stuff. Like, I was really happy that it was being brought back. But yeah, like you were saying though, it's like when 75 to 80% of the cards are basically binder filler, it's pretty stupid. There were some cards that were like they brought like the Edwin Cabrera back into the game, but it's like by that point, a 94 overall Edwin Cabrera, regardless of his sinker having outlier and all this and that, was still useless at the time. It's like we have all these other better cards in the game that were just so much more useful to your team as far as stats wise to go up against, especially online play. And then, yeah, just the constant grinding of, playing against the computer. Just, I mean, gosh, I want to know how many MLB The Show home runs were hit at that Costco park this season, if they can track that, because that's all you see is people playing at that Costco park, just hitting 500-foot home runs with their pitchers, like just insane. And, but man, I'm just, this season, I think this version of Diamond Dynasty was a L, and I think they saw that and noticed it from the community feedback. Because as far as the people that I talked to in the communities and stuff, they were very honest about like the community, surveys that they would send out.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping a lot of people weren't just like sucking up and kissing butt just to, make MLB feel good and actually like tell them some constructive criticisms.
Yeah, I don't think so. I didn't see too many people defending this game this year. There were people who maybe liked it more than other people, but there wasn't a lot of people really defending it. Rightfully so, I would say. And I don't think they would disagree. Even like, just look at it, look at the feedback. I'm sure they can track like how many people are playing the game, the first 8 weeks versus, let's say like even like during the playoffs and stuff, the game was kind of already not going anywhere besides maybe on content drop days. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was too many, like there was too much at once and then not enough in between. Um, the new season is always cool, but then it's just like, here's like 200 cards in one day. And then you kind of get like one a week or one every 2 weeks for the next like 3 months. You're kind of, well,
Yeah.
you don't need it all. Like just spread it out a bit, which I think is kind of what they're looking to do this year. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes in 24. I think there's a lot of good they can build upon. And I don't think they're looking to repeat too many of the mistakes that they made in this sort of first year of seasons within Diamond Dynasty.
Yeah, that just gave me like a memory of like the first two seasons or the first two sets where it was like, we're getting all this World Baseball Classic stuff and look at all the 99, like 99 Trout right away, 99 Shohei, sweet, everything's great. And then you're playing through it and you're like, okay, cool. This was really like a lot of stuff. Like we're all kind of done and have kind of done everything that we can do. Like the people who don't play BR a lot got Griffey and everything. Like, I know you and I were like two of the main people that were like, we don't really play BR, but we got to go get Griffey.
Had to.
So,
Yep.
And of course it was a very underwhelming Griffey card as far as the stats went, but it was Griffey. So we had to go get him. And then, yeah, and then set two drops, and that's when everything. I think set two was where everybody was like, okay, this isn't as fun as I want it to be. It's just a lot of grinding for stuff, and then we're not going to get anything for another 3 months or whatever it is. So it's like, holy cow, we got all this stuff to do, and it's like most of it's offline. So like I said, you're just playing at the Costco stadium, just hitting home
Yeah.
runs and throwing innings with pitchers and doing stuff like that just to unlock these team affinity missions and regular missions. And then next, it's basically reset all over again.
Yeah.
And you're
It's
losing your
just,
cards on top of it.
yeah. The amount of just like, there's certain players. There's always going to be the surprise card that's like, oh, this card like plays really well this year or whatever. But there's certain players that everybody you kind of look forward to throughout the year. Um, and they kind of gave us like all of them by the start of set two. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy. And then it's like, okay, well, we have all of these already. Like, who are you saving for later? And it just kind of left you pretty underwhelmed. Like, I just want to take a quick look here and bring up like set collections.
Hmm.
There we go. So like, yeah, by set two, what we had, like everybody, it's crazy. Yeah, Joe Mauer, Soriano, Gossage, Schwarber, Nolan Ryan, like Griffey, Trout, Chipper, Babe, everybody, like all these guys had 99s. And set two is only what, like 5 weeks into the year?
Yeah, looking at it now, like now that you mentioned, I have it up as well. I'm sitting there looking like, yeah, you have a 99 Chapman, 99 Harper, Kershaw, Willie Mays, like all of these guys that are like mainstays. I mean, there was a 99 Chris Sale, like all the big
Yeah.
cards that a lot of like the community guys use, they were all in set two. It's like it was insane. I think the only people that were really missing was what, Mickey Mantle. Like he was the only
Yeah.
one of the only guys that wasn't in
Yeah.
set two. And well, I guess I was saying a Trout, but they had the World Baseball Classic Trout. So
And
it's
even like young guys like Corbin Carroll, Gunnar, like Francisco Alvarez, like
yeah.
all these guys, Jordan Walker, all these guys all had 99s, even in set one, let alone set two. Like it's
Yeah, Mickey Mantle was in set two, by the way. I'm looking at it now.
Randy Johnson, David Wright. Yeah, everybody. So you got to spread it out a little bit. Like just, you don't need to give us everything. We need things to work towards. We need things to look forward to. And I think they heard that. I think it's going to be a little bit different, hopefully a lot better this year. We got our first bit of information for MLB The Show 24 a couple weeks ago now with the cover athlete reveal that nobody was really expecting. Obviously, it got me very, very excited being a Canadian, being a Toronto Blue Jays fan. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the cover athlete for MLB The Show 24. Give me your thoughts, Jake. I want to know.
It was very very surprising. I think I just sent you a bunch of middle fingers just because I was like, of course it's gonna be Vladdy for Tango. I mean, I felt like it was an interesting choice. I think they've kind of like everybody was like, oh, this is who the cover athlete absolutely should be, and then they just kind of twisted up and like, no, this is who it's gonna be. I know a lot of people were expecting it to like be either Acuna or like J Ram, because I know like the hint was like they had Jose Ramirez come down to SDS Studio like during the All-Star break or whatever like that, which is the same thing they did for Jazz the year before. And then he got announced the cover athlete. So everybody was like, oh, it's going to be J-Ram. And sure as ever, it became Vladdy. I don't know. I feel like Vladdy's just kind of been a guy lately. I don't know if he's like the top like superstar pick. Obviously, he's got a big name because of his dad and because of the career he's built for himself as far as the name value goes. So it makes sense. But I was really interested. I thought it was really going to be Acuna or somebody like that. But I mean, I don't hate it. The cover looks cool. I'm a big fan of the cover. So
Yeah, Acuna would have been amazing and everybody would have been happy. I think like I'm obviously going to be a little biased. I think it's a great choice. Yes, he hasn't performed as well as his 2021 season where he was MVP runner up. I think he still has potential to do that. But as far as like marketability, I think he's like maybe one of the top choices you could make. I know everybody in the MLB The Show community loves Jose Ramirez and he's a great player, but as far as just, I think like overall marketability of the game, I don't think he's as good of a choice as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like if you look at just like maybe guys who aren't super into it or super big baseball fans, but more casual gamers and stuff, I think they would recognize Vladdy over J-Ram and stuff like that. Do I think it was necessarily the best choice? Like, I don't know if he was the best choice. Like, I still think like Julio Rodriguez and Acuna are probably like my top two guys that I personally think would be the best choice right now. Still is mind blowing. I know he has deals with other like mobile games, but that Mike Trout has never been on the cover. It seems like really weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love it. I'm happy. It made me instantly excited for a game that going into that reveal, I wasn't that excited about. I was just kind of watching that to be like, I want to know who it is. I'm still curious. And they went Dominican, and I was like, okay, there's a lot of guys from the Dominican that it could be. And then like Vladdy comes on the bus in their little video that they showed, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like at first I was like, is he just there to talk about baseball? And then I was like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, like I thought he was like they're just bringing all these Dominican guys in because like Big Papi was there. I'm like, maybe they bring Vladdy and some other guys. I'm like, no, okay, let's just slow down. It's Vladdy. I'm like, and yeah, the cover I think looks awesome. They showed us a little like collection. Who knows what kind of cards you're gonna have to collect, but like a kind of start your Diamond Dynasty team off collection and get this 91 overall Vlad. So I'm excited to put him on my team. He'll be, you know, a mainstay for the first few weeks, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I was happy about it. I know a lot of people were disappointed, but not me.
being a Blue Jays fan, I knew you would like it. You and Kev God were just like jumping at the moon.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, no, you know it's like I said, it's a cool cover.
Yeah.
And I understand what you were saying as far as the marketability. Obviously, Vladdy's name is out there. It's Canada, so they also got that market coming. Now you don't have to do two separate covers. Like I
kind of miss that though. Like I was never big into MLB The Show when they did do that, because I think like in 16 is the first one I ever played. Like I was always an Xbox kid. I'd play like some of the 2K baseball games, and then 16 I played like right at the very, very end of the year, and that one had Donaldson on the cover for everybody. And I think that was the first year that they got rid of the Canada specific covers.
Yeah,
because
they had I think the one year. Wasn't the one year, I think it was like Puig was on the cover, and then they put Joey Bats on the cover for Canada. Something like that. I'm not sure. I know Joey Bats was on the Canadian cover, but I don't remember who the
Russell
US
Martin was on it once for Canada.
That's right.
I think Brett Laurie was on it once. Marcus Stroman was on it.
Pick a Blue Jay.
No, wait. Yeah, there was like one of they just it wasn't even like necessarily our best player or something like that. It was they just kind of. I mean, Russell Martin makes sense because he is Canadian.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of went away from that the last few years, which is, I don't know, it was kind of a nice touch being a fan, but we got Vladdy, so I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. And he rakes, so it works out.
He hit a massive home run today in spring for his first spring training home run. So it was nice to see that. And then we got, what was the first feature premiere was all about the Negro Leagues storylines and the new players. So we got some reveals for some new players. Josh Gibson. Everybody's excited about that.
Huge.
Tony Stone. What was the other player that I can't remember?
I'm
blanking now.
Oh gosh, me too.
It's hard to look past Josh Gibson. You're just like, he's in the game. We're all ready for that. Everybody's been excited and wanting him since they announced they're bringing, Negro League players into the game before last season. And it looks like obviously it's going to be a big focus, as they call it, season 2 of Negro Leagues and storylines within MLB The Show and Diamond Dynasty. So hopefully, did you do all the storylines last year?
I did. I beat them all. I didn't do them all right away. I did them towards like the middle of the game cycle, kind of when I felt like the game was kind of dying down for Diamond Dynasty for me. I was just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and knock these out. And they're really cool, man. I like the way that they did the missions was really cool. Like they had the Satchel page where they did the 3 straight strikeouts where there was no infielders and outfielders. Like everybody was just kind of sitting in the infield, like on their hands and knees. Like they actually made the players all do that, which was kind of cool. Where you actually had to strike the guys out. It was really cool. The storylines, Bob Kendrick did a really good job telling the stories. And yeah, the history of baseball is really cool, especially that era. A lot of people don't really know about it because MLB hasn't really recognized it until like the last, decade, maybe less than that. And I think it's really cool for the history of baseball to know who these players are. And it's cool that we're getting more and more as the years go on.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really fun to play them and to learn all that stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff Like I didn't know most of that stuff. Um, my one thing with it, as far as like, I guess just the playability of it, I just thought could have been a lot better. It was fun to do it, but once you were done it, like it just never got any more attention again. Like if you did it the first 2 weeks of the year, it was done, and it was never something you were ever like. You're not gonna go back and do it again because it's basically it's like moments in disguise. But obviously the stories are way better, the production value is way better. So I mean they've mentioned it this year. They're going to be doing it in waves. Get like 3 or 4 to start out, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks down the road, and a couple more after that, which I think is great. Because that was my biggest thing is like you can do all these at once, or you can spread them out if you want to. But once they're done, you're just kind of like, you almost forget about it. Like eventually it's like, oh yeah, that was something that was part of the game. And it's like a really big part of something they put a lot of effort and time and resources into. So I think it's something that definitely they could make the playability of it a little bit better. And I think it's going to be this year. I like that it's staggered and stuff. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed, be like, oh, I got to do all 8 of these storylines right now. It's you can kind of do some, and then you'll get more as the year goes on. And I think it's just a great starting point. Like you could do this for so many players. I mean, obviously this year there's a huge focus on Derek Jeter. We're getting like big time Derek Jeter storylines, which is kind of funny. I was talking to somebody else about this. It's like, it's kind of funny that wasn't something last year when they brought Jeter into the game. It kind of seems like it makes more sense for last year. But again, I mean, it's, I don't know. Did you watch that feature premiere? Cause like
I watched it and I laughed the whole time.
Man, I
laughed the whole time.
Like I was just there. I'm here for the free packs for the Twitch drops.
Basically. I don't even know if they had Twitch drops for that one. I don't remember. I don't think they did.
I think they did. I think they were just basic packs though.
I don't remember if they did. I don't remember ever getting a Twitch notification saying that I unlocked the pack for that feature premiere.
It was boring. Like it was
worse of a Zoom call than this one is.
I feel like the focus just was on all of the wrong things. It was less on like this is what it's about, and more on like I will always applaud the MLB The Show art team is fantastic. The card art, like the UI, well, except for the attributes this year, it's really
they need a dark mode.
That's a big miss right now. But
yeah, they need a dark
overall
mode fast.
Everything is it always looks great. Like it's a very aesthetically appealing game. But when you're spending like 25 minutes talking about like which subway how much of us, like nobody cares.
People are going to play that once and no one's going to touch it again.
Nobody's really looking at the menu being like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in the New York subway. It's like, you want to play it. You want to get your rewards. You want to do the moments and the missions and get that stuff done. Like, so hopefully, and I think there will be hopefully a lot of like the focus is on that. Like, as far as when you're actually playing the game, you can feel that. But yeah, like talking for 25 minutes about how you tried to make a Super Mario type map and realistic subway backgrounds is like, okay. Like,
yeah, we had to bring a subway to the studio. Like that was unnecessary. You just waste of resources.
Waste of resources. This is my one thing with MLB The Show the last couple of years is I feel like resources get put in the wrong places with this game. I don't know how much time you've spent creating stadiums in this game. I've spent maybe 25 minutes in total.
Not very much time because I'm not very good at it. I've tried.
Yeah,
I really have. I tried to make my own stadium that I would play Diamond Dynasty games in, like ranked seasons, all that stuff. I got to like putting the border, like the stadiums, and I was like, this looks basic. And I was like, I'm done. I'm just going to go download something and maybe tweak a part or two.
Like, here's what I'll say. Like, kudos to everybody who spends time and like makes some of those stadiums, because some of them are amazing and things that I would never have the patience to do. And even if I had the patience, I don't know if I could do as good of a job or near like as some of these guys.
Yeah.
But my thought, especially in MLB The Show 22, was like gameplay was like not good. And all this time and effort and resources was put towards like, who would have been mad if there was no stadium creator, but the gameplay was like amazing. Nobody,
Yeah,
right? Like nobody would have been
nobody,
mad. So I
nobody.
don't know. I just like that's what I was kind of feeling. I was getting the same vibe with this feature premiere as far as the Jeter storylines. I'm like, Jeter storylines sounds amazing and like a fun thing to do, but I don't need 45 minutes to an hour talking about like a Metro card icon and things like this. It's just like, okay, that's a cool touch, but like I never like we're here to play a baseball video game. We're not here to like judge these kind of things necessarily. Like obviously if it looked really horrible, like
Hmm.
that's a different story.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But nobody would ever expect that because that's just like they don't do that. So yeah, it was weird. Like I'll play it. I'm excited to play it and see what it's all about. And I hope maybe they like do more than just Derek Jeter this year. Maybe like down the road we get another player. Um, Whoever that could be, like it'd be cool to do like Jeter and then do like David Ortiz or somebody like that who is kind of like a rival of his.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of got
Yeah.
teases that maybe we'll get some more guys that played with and were part of his career, which I know there's
Hmm.
one guy that I really want to see when
Yep.
they.
Me too. Me too. I think our heads are the same on that one.
Yeah, I think everybody's hoping that he's in the game this year. They did give us, Andy Pettit, Bernie Williams,
Hmm.
and Paul O'Neill are going to be in the game, which is cool.
Yeah.
Cool, but they're not like,
Definitely part of our growing up
yeah,
phases of baseball. So that's cool. I like that they're adding a lot of guys from that time frame because I think that's
it's
where like their player base are like that generation of baseball fan is like that late '90s, early 2000s into current.
yeah,
So that's cool.
yeah. There's definitely like some of those like more historic players from like the 50s and 60s and stuff, which are like they're cool to have in the game, but yeah, we all like there's not that many people who play this game that were alive to watch any of those guys play. Um, Whereas, we all watched, like, it was huge for them last year bringing in Sosa and McGuire. Like, I
Hmm.
remember, the great race in 98, like watching that. I
Oh
remember making a PowerPoint presentation when I was in like, I'm old. So I was in like, I don't know, grade 5 or what, I don't know what year,
yeah.
maybe when it was that. And it was like, it was like Mark McGuire hitting home runs and stuff. it was all about, I was all about it. And obviously like, I'm a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan. So
Yeah. Definitely, man. I think yeah, it just I don't know. I like the idea of thinking that the Jeter storyline could lead to more storylines, which I don't want a storyline for everybody because I don't want all those resources to go into that. But I think it would be cool, especially for like just to tell the story of the legends, man. Like tell the stories of guys that we really don't know about. I didn't know who Jimmy Fox was until I started playing MLB The Show. Now I know he's one of the best power hitters ever. Just based on small things here and there. It's like obviously everybody knows who Babe Ruth is, but a storyline for Babe Ruth would be cool. Considering he was a pitcher first and everything like that. Like, I don't know, just a lot of cool stuff like that. I mean, they have so many possibilities that they could do with it. Just pick all these players and um just I think the idea instead of doing all this crazy storyline stuff, do like missions that have story like video clips attached to them. Like you click on a moment and it shows you the video clip before the moment and then you do the moment. You could do that pretty easily with
yeah.
thousands of players. I mean, it wouldn't really take up that much time. I
Yeah,
don't think.
you
I
wouldn't
mean,
have to
obviously, it would take up.
build a subway.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to build a subway or build a door that's too tall or anything like that. But yeah, things like that, man. I think the possibilities are really cool for it. But I think the main thing was they're like, okay, yeah, I think it was funny too how it got a Jeter story this year and not last year. But they couldn't get the subway through the door last year. That's what it was. They had to tear the walls down, which took over a
Uh,
year to be able to get it through.
Ridiculous.
So,
It's so funny.
uh,
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I'll play it. I mean, obviously, like I'm more interested in sort of like everything that's going to be available in Diamond Dynasty Day One, but I mean that always plays a part of it. And there's always going to be rewards and stuff to earn that way. So we'll see
definitely.
how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk a little bit of like everything. So the Diamond Dynasty blog that they put out
Hmm.
last Thursday went over a lot of stuff. Changes, getting away from the sets and more focus on longer seasons with it seems like power creep within the season, which is Nice. No carryover season to season, which I like. Besides, I mean, you have more wild cards and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, the wild card thing I think is gonna be. I like the wild card thing, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel about having 4 slots for it if you're when you're, playing throughout because then it's just gonna lead to, like, what am I grinding this for? I have 4 wild card slots. I could just use my 4 favorite cards from last season. But it depends. I mean, that's kinda how it was with me for, like, Chipper Jones, for instance. I used him as my 3rd baseman pretty much all year. If he wasn't my 3rd baseman, he was either my shortstop or my DH all year because it's like I have the ability to do it. It didn't give me a reason to want to use other cards because I was just using Chipper because he's better than all those other cards
Yeah, that card
in
was so
almost
good
every
all year.
dude. Just I mean, yeah, I have him P4, almost P5. I didn't get a single P5 this last year because that's just I stopped playing online for a long time. So like I didn't really get like the XP boosts. And then a lot of the grinding I was doing was mostly get like team affinity done and stuff like that. So um yeah, I got a bunch of cards P4, but none P5 this year actually. Which I was kind of like, damn, I really don't have a single one P5.
That is
Usually I
kind of
get at least
crazy. Like you think you'd at least kind of end up with one, but that
yeah.
just
I don't
goes
know.
to show
I was
you.
also never that big of a like a P5 grinder
Yeah.
either. Like I was like, if I do it, I do it. But also it's like I like to switch my lineup when I get new cards.
Yeah.
So
That's yeah. There's a like I guess a good and a bad reason for that. It's one like I'd say the good is that means there's a lot of different cards that you can use, so you want to try out different things. You're not just focusing on using the same, one or two guys all the time. And then, but I would say on the flip side, it's also like, ooh, or like, are you playing it as much as they want you to, or as much as
yeah.
you have in the past? If you're like didn't even get one, I remember like in 22 there were guys that I like tried to get one of one. I got a couple near the end of the year when the people weren't playing as much. I didn't get any. I wasn't first to any pair of P5s this year. I got a few, not as many as the year before, but
Mhm.
but a few.
Yeah, but it's hard to P5 Mike Trout when there's 5 of them.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's like how do you like what's the point of you P5ing live series Trout when the World Baseball Classic one is out the same
yeah.
day? So it's like
Or as soon as you get them there, a new one that's still is better comes out, and you're like, well, I just spent all this time P5ing this card just for a
yeah, and
better
that's
one to come out
to
anyway.
randomly jump back into something I just thought of. I just literally thought about it now, like the idea, like the gall of SDS to like set one chipper, 99 overall, XP reward, the collection reward guy, and then later in the year they put a 97 chipper in the game. Like, what do they do? Like, what the hell was that? SDS. Like nobody is gonna like. Why would I even want to use this 97 chipper when all I have to do is wild card my 99 one, who's better in every way?
Yeah, it
So
made no
like,
sense.
just a
Made no
huge
sense.
L as far as that went. Like, yeah, but like, I don't know. That was just something I thought about right now because I'm sitting here looking at my God Squad and Chipper's just sitting there looking at me, and I'm like, I remember you had a 97 version as well that came out. I'm gonna bring that up right now in your honor, Chipper.
Yeah, there were a few
Um,
like that whole pack with those 97s was all guys that had like better 99 cards, I think,
because
at
that
that
was
point,
what was
or
that
most of them.
the was it the jersey retirement pack or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah, because like Posada, I think, was in there. He already had a 99.
hmm
I can't even
Um,
remember who else.
but then like one of the big ones was gosh, what was it? Craig Biggio. He already had his 97 was like the charisma card, but then he did get a 99 in the
Yeah.
retirement number ones, which I was like, okay, cool. You went
Yeah.
from a 97 to a 99. That makes sense. Roy Halladay, I think, was the other one. I can't remember who the third guy was. It was Biggio, Halladay, and somebody
Duke
else.
Snyder.
Duke Snyder,
Duke
yes. Which I
Snyder.
knew that they all didn't have 99s to begin with. So
Yeah.
that made sense. But downgrading from a 99 chipper to a 97 just because of a pack was silly.
Gotta fill those packs up.
Gotta fill the
Gotta fill the
binders.
packs up.
Gotta flood the market.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like I feel like they talk about this every year though. They, make live series cards worth it at the beginning and useful. It does sound like they're trying to do that again. Hopefully it pans out, because I do think like the first like couple weeks are always fun when you still have like a few golds or like even like half your your rank squad is like gold cards. Like, I think it's fun in the beginning. Like last year was basically you had like half your team was 99s on day one. You're like, okay, this is like a fun change, but it's like, well, what's the point of 90% of the cards in the game that are non 99s when like, yeah, like it's always fun finding out which live series gold card is like kind of a cheat code.
Yeah.
Which pitchers, even like sometimes like silver relievers will be kind of glitchy and you can use them, but when you're giving us everybody day one, it's not, it just makes those kind of pointless. So hopefully I really want them to, be useful, especially with these, these cornerstone captains that they're giving us.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at that now.
That it makes you actually want to use these other cards a little bit more. Because that's always kind of a missed opportunity, I feel, at the beginning of the year. Focus more on the players that are playing and the season starting, as opposed to like giving us, souped up legends and stuff like that right away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the power creep is always good. I think one of my favorite years of MLB The Show, I think it was either 20 or 21, where my like first month squad had live series J-Ram, live series Freddie Freeman, and I was using like Corbin Burns and like Garrett Cole were my like live series starters, and I was just wrecking dudes.
Yeah.
Like they were just like, it made me love those. Like it made me fall in love with using J-Ram. Like it made me look into more of him as a player. I already knew who Freddie Freeman was, just because I've known who Freddie Freeman was since his rookie year. But like I wasn't a huge watcher of Cleveland baseball, so I didn't really know who J-Ram was. I knew Lindor was, but I was like, oh, J-Ram, he's cool too. And then I started using him in the game, and I'm like, this guy's freaking amazing.
He's
like,
so good in the game.
Yeah,
you also want you want it to mean something when you pull a diamond live series player at the beginning of the year, like make it a card you actually want to use. Like if you pull Mike Trout day one, like you don't want to have a better version of Mike Trout that they give to you for free that's already in your lineup. Like it'll give him more value on the market, which is a good thing for live series cards. And like, yeah, like it's always good when you're like, oh, it's night one, you open up some packs, you're like, oh my goodness, I actually pulled a diamond, and then you can use that card. Because yeah, again, it's like it ruins the fun of it. I think when it's like you pull it, you get this diamond, and like they just go into your inventory.
Yeah, I have an entire video series that I wanted to start last year, and it was I was gonna make a team based off of the first like 9 or 10 diamonds I pulled. And I was just going to like make a team of that. I was like, okay, all the diamonds that I pull for the first whatever, I'm just going to play them at whatever positions they are, and I'm going to see if I can win a game. But it didn't make sense because I was going up against the World Baseball Classic guys and the 99 day ones. And I'm just like, yeah, I can't go out there with this lineup. I'm going to get fucking run ruled.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Like, you can't go out there with a guy with 75 hit per 9 against Mike Trout. Like it's gonna end well for
you.
you.
And you can't get a hit with like an 85 diamond when you're facing like 99 Roki Sasaki or Yu Darvish on day one. You're just like,
oh my God.
you're just missing everything. It just
double outlier Roki. Let's put live series Vladdy out there against him. Let's see how it works out.
If they would have given him like a little bit more break or a little less speed on his forkball, that pitching card probably would have been the best card in the game. But
Roki,
his forkball just wasn't good enough.
I think that's the one thing with pitching. I think they said they're going to work on breaking pitches this year too. So
his card was cool. So speaking of live series cards, what do we think as far as they did say like the live series collection is still there? There's still going to be at least, those couple of day 199s.
Mm-hmm.
And we have it here. Like, what are our thoughts on predicting some of these cards? So they did give us the blurred out card that I think everybody kind of figured out that one it looks like a Hall of Fame plaque. And I think the Twitter detectives went in and figured out that it looks like it's going to be Willie Mays. So what do you think? I think all signs kind of point to that being like some sort of live series collection reward, whether it's the National League or the overall MLB collection. I think both. I don't know if
it's gonna be a live series collection guy. I think he might be like a different collection.
Yeah,
like an in-game, like a different kind of collection for the in-game.
Or maybe just a tease for like Hall of Fame, a new
Maybe like a new
series.
collection, like a Hall of Fame card series. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like the Hall of Fame. I mean, because that's what it looks like here. It looks like it's like the Hall of Fame. I'm looking at it now, like the blurred out image. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was Beltray at first.
Yeah,
I was sitting in my I was sitting in my work truck and I'm like, that looks like Beltray because obviously he just recently got in and all this and that. And I'm like, no, that's not Beltray.
I think we all want Beltray in the game. Like that's actually to be honest, like that would be my American League Live Series collection prediction. I think would be Beltray.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I mean, I guess he could be the NL. Like he played for the Dodgers for a lot of times, but I think he was better for Texas or more known.
Yeah, either Texas or I mean, he was really good with the Dodgers too, but I think Texas is where like that's his main thing. So I'll agree with you there. I think he's the AL Live Series collection when you get obviously the 3 divisions. The National League, I was like sitting here trying to think. I'm like, I don't know who it would be that would be like new, because I mean, it's like, it's tough because it's like, unless they do Dodgers Beltray for the National League and then they do Manny for the American League, Manny Ramirez.
Oh man, that would
for the American League.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we haven't got any other legend teases. Like last year it was kind of like, okay, like Sosa, McGuire, and Jeter. Makes sense.
I have a feeling that they're going to drop something on the 7th to give us. I know they're doing the player reveal, like the Live Series player reveals, like the overalls and stuff. I think they're going to tease something then, but I'm not sure. And then, what do you think how do you feel about that?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like one of them's going to be a card that we already have. Like, I don't think they're all going to be brand new. It hasn't always been that way in the past, but
I like it when it is. Like last year it was cool. McGuire, Sosa, and Jeter. I like that. Yeah. Because that was how it was a couple years ago too, wasn't it? Like David Ortiz, Biggio, and then Mantle, right? I think that's what the 3 was for that.
Is that what
it was? It was Gary. No, I think it was.
Oh man, it's hard to remember every year.
Biggio. I think it was Biggio, Ortiz, and then Chipper. I think that's what that one was. Maybe, I don't know. I'm confusing. I know Chipper was a Live Series collection one year. I'm just trying to remember Mickey Mantle.
Who all them were. Like, because Gary Sheffield was one, wasn't he? 1 year.
He was one of the he was one of the NL ones one year.
Trying to remember who all of them were, or who they have been the last few years. Like I remember Sheffield was in there. Frank Thomas was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just get the feeling it's going to be somebody that we've had before, or maybe not like super recently. Who would be a good NL collection reward?
So MLB 21 was David Ortiz, Alfonso Soriano, and then Chipper was the legend.
The main. That Soriano card was good.
Yeah, it was. He was a national too, which was funny. And then 20 was Sheffield, Biggio, and Mickey Mantle. That's who it was for 20. God, good times. Good times.
Good times. Give me somebody like, oh man, give me like a recent like award winner, even like an Acuna. Like how crazy would it be if like the NL was like this? Or would that be too soon? I don't know. Maybe that'd be too soon.
Maybe. I don't like using current players because then I feel like it diminishes if they get a better card throughout the year.
Yeah, who would be a good legend? Who's like maybe like a Fernando Valenzuela, but he's more of a team, like a division collection.
I think he was the Dodgers one last year, wasn't he?
No, they gave us that. He was the number retirement.
Oh, that's right.
Program reward.
That's right. Yeah.
Actually, I could see like I don't know, because they announced Andy Pettitte. Like maybe Andy Pettitte's going to be in there for one of these collection rewards. He could be a good, even like an AL East reward.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many options, and we have no idea. Like there's got to be more new legends coming.
They always have. Yeah, that's the craziest part is everyone's like, oh, we're gonna get 10 new legends every year, and it's like eventually they're going to run out of people, or they're going to get the thing where we get like Ray Durham, legend. Like
I don't know, back
Ray Durham was good in the game, but
bring back
legend.
Ted Williams, like bring back some of those guys.
Ty
Uh,
Cobb, Honus, or not
yeah,
Honus,
Hornsby.
Hornsby. Yes,
Horsby, yeah.
Rogers Hornsby, my favorite second baseman of MLB The Show history. I freaking love Rogers Hornsby.
Bring back some of those guys, and then
Yeah.
give us like some of these recent. Yeah, get Beltray in the game. Get Ichiro back in the game. He would be a good AL reward.
He would be a great AL East. Like
I'm gonna switch
AL
it. We're gonna go
final.
Ichiro AL, Beltray NL, overall MLB. That's tough.
only have one. I only have one choice. I only have one pick in my mind.
Who's that?
A-Rod.
Ooh, oh, yeah.
If they're doing this Derek Jeter storyline, and they said they're doing these storylines from his whole career all the way up until what was it, 2014?
Yeah,
A-Rod was kind of a big part of that Yankee squad that won him a World
yeah.
Series.
He can't be. I feel like we're gonna get like CC Sabathia is gonna come back in the game this year. I feel like too when you're just talking about Yankees, but if A-Rod's not in the game, it's gonna be. It's a miss. You can't what's the point of doing this Jeter storyline if you're not going to get like all of the very,
Yeah, because I'm still convinced we're never going to get Bonds. He's the ultimate one I've always wanted is Bonds. We're never going to get him though. I feel like
no, he just doesn't want it. I don't think it even matters.
I think MLB, if they're going to pay Jeter what they paid him to be in the game, Bonds could get $1 more. Everybody would love, because you could literally do a live series collection rewards of Bonds. Like you could just do like Pirates Bonds, early Giants Bonds, and then the live series collection be like souped up 73 home run Bonds. Just crazy. He's my all-time favorite player, so I would love nothing more for him to be in the game.
You'd almost have to give him like 130 stats.
Yeah, right. 130, he'd have to have like 150 vision.
126. We'll just give him 126.
Yeah, there you go. Set the new bar.
Oh man, that would be crazy.
No, I think A-Rod would be a huge one. Another surprise, another like sneaky one would be Beltran if they were to figure out a way to get him back in the game. But I don't know how they're feeling with him as far as the old like Astros thing still. Like I don't know. I mean, obviously a lot of people have moved on from it, but I don't know how like the general consensus would be with him, because obviously he had a part to play in that for the little bit that he played. But I don't know. I would love to see him back in the game.
Yeah, his card in 17 was insane.
See, I never really played it because I didn't really play. I played franchise in 17.
It was the best card in the game.
Yeah, and I know A-Rod was in like what 16 or
16,
something like that.
I think. Before I was into
399s
to DD.
Yeah, I know he had 399s.
I don't mind like the different 99s when they're like different teams and stuff like that. Kind of makes sense almost. But I mean, after last year, I don't ever want to see like multiple 99s for a player again.
Yeah, we don't need two 299 Randy Johnsons.
Oh
because
man,
one
the
was
most
on
random
the Diamondbacks and one was on the Mariners. Like
the most random one I think they got two was Brandon Crawford. I'm like, I'm surprised this guy got 199, let alone two.
Like, they always give him one. They always give him one. It always seems like DJ BC Raw, man. Yeah. DJ BC Raw. Oh. Yeah, and by the way, MLB The Show, do away with the freaking nickname cards, please. This isn't Madden. That's one of the worst things about Madden, and they brought it in MLB thinking people were gonna like it. It was so dumb. I hated it with a. Yeah. It made me not want to play with those cards because I don't know. There's something aesthetically pleasing for me about seeing a lineup and seeing the first and last name, not seeing freaking Big Poppy, Commerce Comet, DJ BC Raw. Like it didn't work.
The cards themselves and the card art as much as like in the lineups and during the game, not seeing their actual name was the part that was really like no.
Yeah.
And then it was like screwed up for half the year and it just showed nothing anyway. There's just like a blank spot in your lineup in center field.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, it was just the diamond shield.
Yeah, you're just like
or whatever the defensive
shield
was.
Some random guy. Ridiculous. So I guess to close it out here, the last little thing we're going to talk about, what's on your wish list for MLB The Show 24 as far as, I don't know, Diamond Dynasty or just the game in general, I guess.
I want Team Affinity to be great again. I want it to be fun. I want it to be like the rewards actually to be worth something to go for. I loved the idea of like the collections for Team Affinity to where like you had to complete it and then you got a reward after. I love that. I thought it was really funny how they implemented it after like what TA3, because they were like, we need to give these guys something to do or like something to work towards other than just collecting these 97s for no reason.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But as far as I want to see, you know, like a random thing. I don't know if you like this or not, but one thing that I really liked is if you're gonna have all these card series, I loved like the collection for the card series, like the breakout collections, the rookie collections. I loved that stuff.
Yeah.
It made it so much fun. And then like the voucher program that came with it for the cards for like the collections were cool. Like I love that stuff. I thought it was really cool. It also helps fluctuate the market for because some guys are going to be really cheap or really expensive beginning, drop off, and then boom, this collection drops. Now these cards are worth quadruple what they were 2 weeks ago. And guys can play the market that way, which is it's how stock market. It's kind of how the stock market works. So it's like I always like that. Make live series cards matter in the beginning of the game. Obviously, they can die out as it happens. It's going to be crazy. This live series collection is going to be nuts. So just thinking about it, that Dodgers team is going to cost so much stubs. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be so tough, so expensive.
Shohei and Mookie are going to cost more than Trout. Like Trout's going to cost the most still in the AL because he's going to be the AL big guy that no one gets for that. Him and Judge, obviously. But yeah, I mean, those are like my main things for Diamond Dynasty is just to give us more. Like, I like collecting. If you're going to give me stuff for these cards to like do something, give me something like worth grinding them for. Like, I know if I do all this TA, I'm getting these rookie cards, these future stars cards, but they also lead to a collection that gives me something better worth grinding for, not just programs.
Yeah, I missed that too when they'd had the like individual card series collections because they keep all these card series in the game, but it's like why like we had like I feel like barely any like prime series cards or like second halves.
Yeah.
It's also like a fun way to just like give us kind of random cards you don't think about some of those. And you know, like they say, you know, they got rid of Immortals, but they kind of just changed it into, you know, these like retro fine. That's like what it is. Like retro finest, they just pick random people and give them like this boosted 99 card, which again, like it's fun, but we don't need a billion of them. Like, I just kind of hope it's scaled back in the right way where again, like things matter more and we're more excited for certain things to come down the road. Like I don't want to, the one thing that that'll kind of always kind of makes me hesitant with the seasons is like after season 1, because it's 12 weeks, which is like 3 months. So around the All-Star break, I think like after that, like is season 2, am I going to feel like I played the whole game cycle by the end of season 1?
Probably
right?
For guys who grinded a lot, I'm sure
Right.
they're going to be done with it within the first month. They're probably going to have mostly everything done. At least as far as like the team affinity grinding, which I know that they said they're breaking the team affinity up into parts, which is good.
Yeah.
I like that. At least that I like the idea that they're doing it in waves. And I know I was talking to a buddy and he was saying like he wasn't a kind of a big fan of that because he's like he's like, okay, what if you stop playing for 2 weeks? You go on vacation for a week. How far behind are you going to be? You know, that type of deal. And I'm like, well, that's what they give you. One, they give you the ability to keep grinding it. And two, you know, at the end of the game, everything becomes usable. So it's like you have that as well. So it's like you grind it at your pace. Whether you can use the cards or not, you can grind it when you want to, which is what I did. I completed TA2 and like that was the last team affinity I completed because I stopped playing Diamond Dynasty for that little bit of time because I'm like, this is TA2 killed it for me. The whole set 2 killed 23 for me.
Yeah.
But then I got back into it and I was like, okay, I'm going to grind these cards, get these collections done, all this stuff. And I felt good by doing it. I mean, it was tedious and annoying, but I enjoyed it in my weird way.
I do have positive feelings about the game right now. I do think there are going to be a lot of improvements. Obviously, it's never going to be perfect, which, you know, that's just every game. No game's perfect. It looks like they heard a lot of the feedback. You know, there's always going to be the skeptics that just like before they play it, they're shitting on it. But
of course,
we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to play it. Like I obviously, as soon as Vlad was on the cover, basically once they announced the digital deluxe and the Negro Leagues cover. I pre-ordered right away, so it's still my favorite game to play. Like I just love baseball. It's the only good baseball video game there is. So I just hope it's, spread out. It just make things feel more worth it and give us things, hold things back so that we're excited longer into the season. That's those are my big things especially for Diamond Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking. I'm just like reading back through the blog, and I'm just like, they seem like they addressed a lot of the key issues. Not as many 99s. The cornerstone packs are cool. The starter packs are cool to give people like a leg up to start. That's another thing we didn't really talk about from last year that I kind of liked, but I wish they would have done something more of, where the wild cards or the captains. I didn't hate it. I hated it at first because like the one obviously I think it was set 2 where like you have to parallel a card to get the boost all the way up, and I was like, it's like, come on, man! Like I just want to boost my guys. I don't have an interest in using these guys. Actually, I just want to boost them up so I get my whole team to be better. I like that. I like that concept because it gives the art of team building at the end of the year, which obviously you see a lot of people are really taking advantage of with their content now. They're doing a lot of team builds. I was doing some fun little like team build stuff just to see who the best team in the game I can put together with the cards I have to go with the captain boosts. But yeah, I'm interested to see how these cornerstone cards work. The live series. Also, I'm not a big fan of the UI. Again, it's going to be like the 23 UI as far as like the Diamond Dynasty screen. I liked it in 22 where everything was just like a right bumper and you go boom, you're to the pitchers. Now you got to like
the
move
lineup
everything around.
screen might have been
Yeah,
my most hated thing of the entire game last year. I
I
talked
couldn't
about it
stand
with
it.
Nick like every single episode we did. I'm like, this thing is brutal. From the tech test all the way to probably our last episode, I was still talking about it. I'm like, it's just awful.
I don't think during the tech test I figured out how to get to my pitchers.
That was like the one thing
Or how to set my lineup until
they
like
didn't
a
need to
while.
change. Like it was
No.
great how it was in like 22 and earlier, and then they change it to and you got to go down like 4 pages to get to your relievers. I'm like, this is stupid. Just put all of your hitters, have your hitters hitting, pitching, and then allow us to use the bumpers to scroll the whole page of inventory when we're going through, especially when you're going to give us 6,000 cards.
Yeah, and then I got to scroll right just on every card. I'm sitting here doing it now. I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. Like it's so bad. Just looking at it now, but yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to deal with that again for the little bit that it shows. But
if they even add like the bumper usage when you're changing your players for your lineup, like that'll make a big difference. Well, maybe not big. It'll make a difference. And make events fun again. Events used to be fun. Give us like more restricted events, less moonshot events. Give us the like all silver events. Give us the like random, like no higher than a gold, all like lefty event, like stuff like that. Like it was what, in my opinion, what always made events fun to do. But last year just felt like, every third event is moonshot, and you can pretty much use every card. When you're limiting it to like, you can use finest and you can use the incognitos and you can use the kaiju cards. It's like, okay, well, that's every card we have. So what's the real restriction here?
It's like, you can use incognito and all other cards. Like, but your team overall has to be 95 or lower. It's like, well, I can still have the best cards and just use some shitty relievers, and boom, there's my 95.
Yeah, just
like
force it to be like, use all silvers or all whatever. I don't know. It's more
also
fun that way.
Fun hot take. The moonshot event is the worst event in MLB The Show
It's
history.
brutal.
I hate it. I understand the people like, oh yeah, it's just a home run fest between the two teams, but it's like, it's not fun. It's not fun. If I can't get an out, it's just annoying. Like I want to have a back and forth battle.
Yeah, it was fun when it was once a year.
I'm not saying do the opposite where you're giving me all the diamond best pitchers against common batters. Now that would just be unplayable. But I don't need to just have. I know they have. I remember it. I played one game and I was like, "Yep."
The dead ball event, I think is what they called it.
I was like, "Yep, I'm done. I'm not playing this one. I don't care what the reward is." And I think the rewards were like just some slap hitters.
Yeah,
it was
probably
like D
Gordon.
D Gordon and Richie Ashburn. like, like those are the guys that you got for the main reward. But I'm so excited for the game though, man. I know we've been shitting on 23 quite a bit this episode, but it's like it was justified. I felt like
Absolutely.
it, it
Absolutely.
and I think a lot of people are really excited to get back into it. I know there's a lot of people that I've talked to who pretty much are like, yeah, I don't like that. I've known specifically play MLB The Show. They're like, yeah, I don't even know if I'm getting the game this year because 23 like really threw me off. I know Nick was kind of that way.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of interest in playing MLB, which obviously him finding the wrestling niche now is great for him. I love to see that. But I knew Nick through MLB, so it's like that's how I met a lot. That's how I met you. It's how I met a lot of these guys in the community. It's like we all played MLB The Show, and a lot of people left it in 23, and I think they're all ready to give it a shot in 24
Yeah.
again. But there were a lot of people that after set one ended, they were like, well, I'm not grinding this game. I'm not doing everything that I just did for the past 2 months again. Like for when I can just use the same cards I've been using. So
Yeah. I think like a good side effect of the game kind of dying off earlier is that I know for me especially, like even the last few years, like when the game cycle was over, I still played it like almost every day just for fun and stuff, but
yeah,
not this year. Like I've played it, maybe I'll maybe open it like once every 10 days since kind of the baseball season ended.
yeah,
But I think it's a good in a way because it's kind of actually giving me time to like be away from the game, and now I'm actually starting to get excited. Like I didn't think I was going to get excited for MLB 24.
yeah.
And I am now. Like I want to, like I'm ready to see this ratings reveal stream they're doing this week, and I'm like I'm
Mhm.
ready for that opening weekend's always so much fun. Just
Yeah,
playing
I
everything
already took
new.
off work. I already took off work that Friday. I'm off. I'm gonna be up. I'll probably be live on Twitch that night, as long as like probably everybody else who shunned off the game, they're all gonna be live for that
Oh
night
yeah.
because that's
Well,
how
there's
that's how it
yeah,
always
and there's
goes.
always like in total like the directory total is like in the 10 to 20,000 people are watching the people play the game that
Mhm.
weekend. It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun time, even just
Yeah,
like
and
playing the
with
game
the
and
boosts and everything,
yeah.
maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do like that one guy did and just keep my stream up all day. That guy, he was like the legend of the weekend boosts. I can't remember his name now, but it was like a couple of people were on Twitch and they would just keep their stream going, so you get all the packs. You just lurked on him.
Hey,
I'm not gonna do
do
that.
it.
I'm not gonna do it. uh, but but yeah, man. But yeah, like you were saying though about like kind of losing interest. I was pretty regularly a ranked seasons player. It was my favorite game mode to play. I love playing ranked online. It was always so much fun to me just to kind of test my skills out. Um, just kind of see how I go, this and that. And in past years, I think MLB 21, I played over like 400 or 500 ranked games. This year, my record is 38-13. That just goes to show my lack of interest in wanting to play my favorite game mode. Um, and also there wasn't really a reason. I'm not going to grind team affinity missions in a ranked game because
Yeah.
I'm not putting a 90 overall or whatever card out there against John Donaldson. Like I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to go 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and I'm not going to get no XP except for the plate appearance XP, which is like 5. So it's like a waste. So
Yeah, this might be my sort of last thing that I kind of slipped my mind before as far as
Mhm.
wish list. I think like make rank seasons and battle royale, like make the rewards something that makes you want to play the mode and play it for real. My thing with rank seasons, like I don't play it a ton. But like 85%, I would say 80% of the games I won were rage quits, and like not even like blowouts. It'd be like a 2-run lead in like the fourth, and they'd be like, nah, this guy scored runs on me, so I don't want to even play the game. It's like, well, especially for trying to create content and record games. Like I think there
Yeah.
was one debut I did where I had to play like 3 or 4 games because guys just like I'd score a run in the first and they just quit. And it's like, I'm playing in lower ranks, which is whatever, but still it's like, why are you even playing ranked if you don't want to at least play a game? Like, so, and I think the problem is like the ranked program, people just do it to like grind it like it's another offline program where you're getting
Yeah.
innings and whatever, which like it's cool that everybody can get all these cards. but it really makes it like almost unplayable mode sometimes. It was frustrating.
I'm looking at the World Series ranks seasons program right now. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 cards out of all of them that I would actually like want to have on my team. And that's not a good thing. Like, it's not good.
And the fact
Like,
that you can just like get them for free, and like it's okay to not be good at ranked seasons and like get rewarded, but like you should get like very penalized for quitting games in that mode.
I agree. You should definitely get. I mean,
Like,
they should have it like 2K is. When you quit a game in 2K, they send out the warning, and then if you quit, like I think if you quit like 2 or 3 games in a day, you get banned for like an hour.
yeah.
Like they should have it like that, to where you're hurting yourself by quitting these games for no reason. And I also think if you quit like before the 3rd inning or something, you should like really be hit drastically, like a negative impact for sure. Um, BR, I mean, BR is BR. They knocked it down to 10 wins. So now you're going to get a lot more Twitch names that are like 300-time flawless.
I'm ready for my 9-0, my Twitch stream to be like 9-0 game. Get in here right now. And then for me just lose every time.
Dude, I've never gone 12-0 in my life. I've gone 10-0. I think if the 10-0 thing was this year, I think I would have had it maybe like 5 or 6 times. But I lost like game 11. There was the one game on stream where I was playing and I was like just playing BR for fun. And next thing you know, I'm on a freaking 11-0 run. And I could play the 12th game and I lost. Like I lost like 3-1. I was devastated. I just quit stream. I was like, I can't do it. I'm sweating
tough.
my ass off. I was like, dude, I don't know how like certain guys are just able to just do this like that. It's insane.
I was 11-0 one time ever, and I blew it. And I lost twice. So I didn't even go 12-1. I went 11-2. And I went 12-1 one time where I like lost in the middle of my run and then went through to get the 12 win reward at least. But yeah, we'll see. 10-0, it kind of makes me want to try it a little bit, and we'll see how the program is with it. But
I fear that the rewards might not be as juicy then, because then everybody's going to kind of have a chance to get to them.
Well,
I mean,
that's
going
true.
10-0 is still hard, but
it's tough.
I mean, I've had a lot of runs where I'm like 6-0 feeling good, and next thing I get rocked like 8-3 in my 7th game or whatever. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's a sweat fest.
It's so sweaty. And I don't know why it's so sweaty. I think it's just because it's 3 innings and just you have to like play pretty much flawless like the entire time.
Yeah, you can't. You give up like 2 runs sometimes and you're cooked.
Yeah, exactly.
It always seems like you're when you finally have an opportunity to score is when you're at the worst part of your lineup. It's all your like the one bronze you have in your starting lineup.
Yeah, it's like bottom of the 3rd, you're down 2-0. You got a guy on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out, but it's like your 7, 8, 9 hitters, and you're like, gosh dang it, and your bench bats are terrible.
And like it's the mode where I blow more leads than ever. Like it's always like bottom of the 3rd. I have like a 2-run lead, and the guy just like gets bloop, 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 and then like bases are loaded, nobody out, and I'm like, well, this was fun.
That was fun, right? Yeah, that was fun. That was fun while it lasted. But I mean, man, really looking forward to seeing how the game turns out, man. It's just we got less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks until early access.
Until the grind starts again. And
my favorite
man,
time
I'm really
of the
looking
year.
forward to it, man. The last 2 years I've told myself this is going to be like a big content thing, and 22 I did some stuff, but like 23 I really like fell off. And this year is the year I'm really like I'm gonna like really set down and really get myself together and really get myself out there as far as getting content out.
Well, for everybody watching or listening, you'll be getting all of the MLB The Show 24 news here at the On Deck Circle. Jake, I just want to say thanks again for joining the show. This was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to do this, as often as we can. Hopefully at least once a week is like kind of what I'd like us to be able to, do. And it usually works out with content drops, stuff like that. But we're back. The On Deck Circle is back. Season 2, you can find us on YouTube, Amazon, Apple, everywhere you find your favorite podcast. Watch, listen, like, subscribe, download, do everything. Until next time.
Peace.